Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kobo Sports Room. We have a new set of microphone. I told you we are working on one or two things for the studio, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you click on the subscribe button, press the post notification bell. Today is another video. The transfer window is coming. The summer transfer window, the big one, is coming, and then teams are, starting to do one or two things, because you have to, if you want to buy a big player, you have to start from now. And teams are working background, they are doing background checks, teams are trying to hijack one or two teams. So we have certain things to talk about here. We will talk about Rodrygo, talk about Florian Wirtz, Jonathan Tah. We'll talk about the strikers option for Arsenal. They need a striker, right? So we'll talk about Arsenal too. Let's get straight into the video. So you click on the subscribe button, you press the post notification bell, follow us on our social media platform. Let's start with Rodrygo. Rodrygo is, he's not happy per the announcement or per the news we are getting. According to Marca, Rodrygo does not want to play for Real Madrid again as he targets a summer exit. That is what Marca is saying. So Rodrygo is not happy in Real Madrid now. If you ask me, I may not know, or I may not necessarily know what is happening to Rodrygo in Real Madrid, but it is looking like Rodrygo is not happy in Real Madrid and he wants to make a move this particular summer for for his career. As a football player, if you don't feel appreciated in where you are or wherever you are, you just have to move to where you'll be appreciated. But when Rodrygo is leaving Real Madrid, a team, it has to be a team that is also up there, a big team that is also up there, right? So there are a lot of teams chasing Rodrygo. I have heard of links about Manchester City. I have also heard Arsenal links. Chelsea are also there. They kind of appreciate the player. But then one of the biggest, blockage of the deal is going to be his salary. Rodrygo is on, I think, 300 and something thousand euros salary. When it comes to England, that is pounds. It is going to be at least 280,000 pounds or 270,000 pounds. And then in England, they don't seem to care so much about the transfer fee, but the salary is where they care so much about. So Arsenal, I know they can do that. Arsenal, I know they are desperate, and then they can pay 270,000 pounds a week for Rodrygo. But Chelsea, I don't see that. Chelsea, I don't see that. Unless probably maybe we heard news that Chelsea are willing to, flout their salary or their wage structure to bring in an experienced player. He is not old, but he is experienced in the European football. He has played Real Madrid for the past 5 years now. There is no single stage Rodrygo has not played football. Being it the World Cup, being it the Champions League, the biggest stage, the semi-finals, the quarter-final. So Rodrygo has seen it all. He has scored in the Champions League final, scored in a lot of cup finals. So in terms of experience, he is up there. And if you ask me, he is one of the best players in Real Madrid. But this season has been very difficult for him. Even in his difficult season, Rodrygo is providing 20 goals and assists, combined, or 20 GA for Real Madrid this season. It has been one of the toughest seasons for him because, of course, Mbappe is in, Vinicius Jr. is there. He also scored some of the goals. So Rodrygo, the goal is kind of, splitted. It's kind of splitted. So 20 GA for Real Madrid this particular season alone. So, if Rodrygo is going to Arsenal, I think it's good for Arsenal because they would need a left winger too. If Rodrygo, I want him to come to Chelsea, but are Chelsea ready to do that? Are Chelsea ready to pay those kind of money? I think the 100 million or the 80 million euros is not going to be a problem for Chelsea, but the wages of Rodrygo is kind of a problem for Chelsea. So Manchester City, I know that they can pay that. Arsenal, I know they will be willing to pay that. So Rodrygo to the Premier League, or Rodrygo coming into the Premier League, drop all your comment down below. What do you think? Is Rodrygo going to improve the Arsenal attack? Is he going to improve the Man City or the Chelsea attack? Drop all your comment down below. But the news is that Rodrygo is, willing to leave Real Madrid. He doesn't feel appreciated this particular summer. Let's see what happens in the summer when eventually the summer transfer window is open. Talking about strikers, this is coming from Sky Sport. Arsenal are interested in RB Leipzig Benjamin Sesko as well as Victor Gyokeres. This Victor Gyokeres guy, a Swedish, striker who plays for Sporting Lisbon or Sporting CP in Portugal. He has scored a lot of goals this particular season for Sporting Lisbon. He is one of the leading, strikers for the European Golden Boot. So this guy is a top striker. He's a top goal scorer. He's a goal poacher. But his, release clause was 100 million last season. This season or this summer, it is going to be 60 million. If you have 60 million euros, you can get Victor Gyokeres. But teams are not moving to the deal. I don't know what is happening. Teams are not moving. 60 million euros, it is not money. This is not it is not a big money for these European clubs. So I don't know why teams are not moving to this, or they are not attacking the situation of Victor Gyokeres in Sporting Lisbon. But Arsenal are also there looking. It is looking like they want to, they want to improve their squad basically. So Benjamin Sesko, he's not that prolific, but Benjamin Sesko can give you 1 or 2 goals, probably maybe like some 17 goals or 16 goals in a season as a striker for you. Eventually, he will grow up. But Victor Gyokeres, I can sit here and tell you, Victor Gyokeres can come into the Premier League and give you or guarantee you 20 goals in a season in the Premier League only. He is that kind of striker. He is that prolific. Victor Gyokeres can do that for you as a team. So I personally want Chelsea to attack the situation of Victor Gyokeres. They appreciate him, but they are not doing much to show that they want to, attack the situation of Victor Gyokeres. It is just 60 million euros. This is no money. 56 million pounds can bring Victor Gyokeres into Chelsea to come and help the goal scoring situation at Chelsea. But Chelsea are not, doing anything. I'm not seeing anything. But Arsenal, it is looking like they want to attack the situation. According to Sky Sport yesterday, Arsenal are looking at Benjamin Sesko and Victor Gyokeres. Let's move to Manchester City. Yesterday we had a bomb from David Ornstein, and then the article was written by James, Horncastle. He is a journalist a journalist who corresponds for the Athletic in the Serie A. So he wrote this article, or he reported the news, and then it was re-echoed by David Ornstein. Manchester City contacted AC Milan to express interest in Tijani Reijnders. Talks are at early stage, plus no formal offer yet, but Manchester City hopes agreement will be reached to buy the 26-year-old AC Milan midfielder this particular season, Tijani Reijnders. I have been following him. I know what he can do. So when I saw this news, I was, kind of down to see Tijani Reijnders in Manchester City. Next season, it is going to be fireworks. They are losing Kevin De Bruyne. So they want to, bring in 1 or 2 things. From Tijani Reijnders' story, we'll move to the next story. And I will tell you why Manchester City want to build their team. They want to come in hard next season. We'll see what Manchester City will do. But Tijani Reijnders, this is a top midfielder. He can play as a defensive midfielder. He can play as a central midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder, and also as an attacking midfielder. He's one of the goal-scoring midfielders in this particular season in the European, leagues. This Tijani Reijnders can guarantee you 12 goals, 12 league goals only. Access is not part. The chances creation is not part. He can guarantee you 12 goals as a team or as a midfielder. So Tijani Reijnders is also, 26, so he's kind of, in terms of experience, he's there. He's a bit older. So Tijani Reijnders to Manchester City. This was a bomb. I don't know what, or I don't know how much Manchester City are willing to pay, or I don't know how much AC Milan are willing to, take from Manchester City. But I'm looking at 60 million euros for Tijani Reijnders to make a move from AC Milan to Manchester City. Let's see if other teams are going to attack the situation. But looking like Manchester City are serious in this transfer window. Talking about Manchester City, yesterday we saw a link. They want to do a hijack on Bayern Munich. Man meet man. When man meets man, man go see man. So this is coming from Christian Falk. Of course, we had Fabrizio Romano and then other, journalists reporting. But if it is a Bayern Munich or it is a German news, we fall on to Bild Sport, and then we fall on to Christian Falk. Christian Falk take over exclusive. Florian Wirtz was today in England to negotiate or for a negotiation with Manchester City. City also made an offer to Bayern 04 Leverkusen for the German national team player. Pep Guardiola wants Wirtz. He should be the successor of Kevin De Bruyne. FC Bayern Munich have now a big rival in the poker for the Wirtz transfer. Of course, Leverkusen want 125 million euros. I don't know. I think it is ridiculous. I think that if they want a midfielder, or so to speak, a 10, an attacking midfielder who can play as a also a winger like Florian Wirtz, I think 100 million will be okay. Even 90 million, if we are being realistic, 80 to 90 million is okay. But he had demanded for 125 million. Of course, he's young. He has prospects. So I cannot fault them because they are the selling club. I cannot fault them. But yesterday we heard it from Christian Falk, CF Bayern or Bill Sport, that Manchester City are willing to hijack the situation. They have entered the race for Florian Wirtz. Manchester City, man meet man. Manchester City versus Bayern Munich for Florian Wirtz. In the worst case scenario for Manchester City, Florian Wirtz can just snub Manchester City and go to Bayern Munich. These German players, you can't trust them. You cannot trust the German players. He can snub Man City and then go to Bayern Munich just like that. And Bayern Munich can pay the money. Just that they don't really want to pay big money for these kind of players. That is if the player is a German player. It is hard for you to see Bayern Munich buying a German player for 120 million euros. I mean, that's ridiculous from Bayern Munich. From the deals they have made in the subsequent years, it's kind of, ridiculous. But Florian Wirtz, 125 million, I will not pay that money. I will not pay that money. But I mean, if it is a race between Manchester City and Bayern Munich, you know that Leverkusen are the winners here. They are going to be the winners here. So we are having, a hijack deal of Florian Wirtz between Manchester City and then Bayern Munich. Where do you see Florian Wirtz moving to? Pep Guardiola is in this conversation. And then if Pep Guardiola is in a conversation and then the company is also in a conversation, you know where the player supposedly might go, because it is Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is coaching you. Company is coaching you. There is difference, So the Florian Wirtz hijack situation is also on. If there is any breaking news, we'll bring it to you here. Make sure you click on the subscribe button. You press the post notification bell. We are still at Bayern 04 Leverkusen. Let's move to Jonathan Tah. Jonathan Tah is 10 years at Bayern 04 Leverkusen. He is trying to move away from Bayern 04 Leverkusen as a free agent. So let's see what Fabrizio Romano has for us. Bayern Munich former proposal to Jonathan Tah has been approved internally at the club, salary included. Green light needed from the player in order to close the deal and get it done as final crucial step up to Jonathan Tah. But I think that Jonathan Tah will be willing to move to FC Bayern Munich. I don't see any problem with this particular deal. So Jonathan Tah